Hey everybody, how y'all doing? This is Or coming to you with another Company of Heroes 1v1. The map itself, as you can see here, is Longarskaya, which means we're probably going to get ourselves some very interesting play going on in these garrisons. But let's look at the commanders first. Up here in the northeast, playing the UKF, it is going to be Wuff, and he is bringing to the fray Mobile Assault Regiment, Vanguard Operations Regiment, and Tactical Support. His opponent is Terminal Cancer, and of course he's going to be bringing along Elite Armor Doctrine, Scavenge, and Breakthrough. Just a couple of things administratively before we really get started here. There is an upcoming winter balance patch scheduled out in the next couple of weeks, I believe, for Company of Heroes 2. It's my hope to start running through some of the changes that are on there, and first things first, for all you Soviet players out there, look to get your infantry squads nerfed, which makes me totally excited as a non-Soviet person. Maybe I'm a little bit biased on that one. At the same time, too, we are going to see ourselves some very interesting buffs to kind of get the OKW a little bit more into the actual fight. They get shredded awful lot early on, and their early vehicles don't quite have the staying power that other people might have in their earlier tiers. But let's get back to this particular game, though, shall we? So we are going to see the British very quickly looking to secure their expansion fuel. The Germans already have theirs as well. They're over in the western side of the map, and will look to probably take out a fairly significant portion of the map, probably just divided by that 50-50 yard line with this road right here. We are going to notice that neither player is seizing a VP until right this second, with Terminal Cancer's kind of very standard build order. The Brits aren't going to have a whole lot of initial firepower advantage on this game, and indeed you are going to see that happen here. They are going to do some damage immediately to the Volksgrunds, who are nice up close and personal, but the Kuppelwagen will see this infantry section shifted off fairly quickly. The other thing, by the way, guys, now I'm thinking about it too, kind of keep an eye on, for all of you out there who are worried about clumping up of infantry and how vulnerable this makes you towards indirect firepower, that's going to be fixed a little bit as well. That's going to be, there's some kind of life of the game improvements going on, a wee bit of clumping management being done by the AI here that the game developers are trying to shift around to make that a little bit more not clever. What's the term I'm looking for here? I don't know the term I'm looking for here, guys. I'm sorry. But anyway, so let's get back to this, shall we? So, infantry sections that have been forced back are already back out on the map, but they're not going to do too particularly well. Kuppelwagen very early on will be pressuring the infantry sections pretty easily, and with the assistance of the Sturmpajos, yeah, this squad here is going to get forced back pretty darn quickly. Those STGs will be more than enough to take out back the SMLEs of the Brits. And indeed, we are going to see a very quick platoon command post coming up, and actually about normal, I guess, 320 or so. Not that much of an issue. Germans not really going for either truck just yet. Kind of surprised by that. I think right now, Cancer's just looking to go and outlast his opponent a little bit. But a Vickers over here to the north will mean trouble for this kind of pushback that we are seeing out of the Germans. Can't be too disappointed, though, with it. With this Vickers by itself, he's really the only one out on the map. This infantry section right here is not going to do particularly well if the Sturmpajos decide to come in and put pressure on them. And indeed, we are going to see an SWS coming in for the Germans, and my guess is right about now, I don't think he's going to go for necessarily a mechanized regiment, though that might be a better option, because right now he does control all the fuel on the map. He's got this entire section that's only finally coming back into supply now for the Brits. The Germans having a very good time just controlling, or at least making sure the Brits don't control their own fuel. See that right now reflected kind of in the position of the fuel management already. Yep, it is going to be a mechanized regiment. That's stylish wood steps coming back down here. And what was that? Feuergefugericht. Never noticed that before. Kind of cool. You play this game for hours and hours, you never notice some of these things. Brits going to take the center part of the map back, though, looking like it's going to be a 2-to-1 cap in favor of the Germans. Both garrisons over here to the northeast locked down pretty safely. And Cancer is just going to overload the map with a bunch of infantry. He doesn't have the fuel just yet to support a second SWS just yet, and that's okay. I mean, that's probably a good idea for him. But indeed, the lack of that will mean that his infantry is going to be a little bit diminished in the early part of the game, unless, of course, he decides to use those field kits, the first aid kits, and that's very, very expensive in the long term. But hey, 5:30 into this map, we are going to see the Germans are up 50 tickets. Almost very, very surprising. Excuse me, not unsurprising, very surprising. And indeed, we're going to see in the north, it's probably because Wuff is not able to really keep an eye on his squads too easily, getting outnumbered and outgunned pretty quickly. And indeed, you see right there, Panzer II's coming out, and these infantry section right here is plopping up here, trying to put some pressure onto this particular mechanized regiment. With a P2, that's going to be pretty negative pretty quickly. Unfortunately, no pyrotechnic supplies on the infantry sections, and the lack of that will mean that the early British game is going to be somewhat diminished. There we go. Royal Engineers are proving their worth, though, with this flamethrower upgrade. And actually, speaking of flamethrower upgrades, those penal legions that you were worried about back in the early Soviet game, well, that's not going to happen anymore. They're going to lose their flamethrower. Just to give you guys a little bit of heads up on that one, I'm pretty stoked about that myself, I have to say. Well, for the meantime, though, we have seen, of course, has gone for that... Ooh, what is this? Oh, he's not building wire. Gotcha. Has gone for that mobile assault regiment. And you can see, of course, that means well, engineers do get that flamethrower. That's where that comes from, obviously. Vicar shifting up as well. He's going to go into this house. Might be the best idea he's got. But his P2 should be enough to force back Brits early on. But that AEC being called in will be more than enough to chase back the P2 in turn. And there's no ability, even for the Germans, to even put out, like, what, one Panzerfaust? Not really going to be that great. Two Panzerfausts? Maybe at that point you're going to send the P2 in. But right now, the Germans are probably in a very, very equivalent position with Wolf, even though Wolf's troops are somewhat numerically inferior. AEC comes up, P2 does get some rear armor hits on top of it, not going to do a ton of it initially. And a Panzerfaust is going to come out, a damaged engine very, very quickly. You'll see another Panzerfaust coming out, might be the best option the Germans have, but sacrificing this P2 for it would not be a great plan. Here's one Faust. Never mind, it goes down, P2 makes it out. Good play for Ko out of that one. And with the Brits being in the other part of the field right now, that's going to be very, very negative. I don't think anybody even has a Piat out. Thought the squad might have had a Piat, but I don't think so. I might be wrong on that one. STG Volksgrens, though, even though these guys do get outscaled in the late game, in the early part right about now, this medical supply infantry section is not going to want to be there very long. They're kicking one of those squads pretty hard in the teeth. Where's this one-man squad? Right, oh, two, he's back in base, okay. Sten engineers, though, are going to do pretty well against the Volksgrens as long as they don't stand in that fire. Which is kind of weird. I kind of feel the Sten gun is not as spectacular a weapon as the STG-44, but I think I might be a little bit predisposed on that one. This squad of Volksgrens might want to consider going back to base at the same time, and there they go. They're off like a shot. But not before losing one of those guys, getting flamed to death right there. Poor guy kind of decides to get himself a little bit of a dirt nap. P2 is back up and running, and he's going to go and dive on top of this machine gun. Machine gun might consider getting out of there soon. He's not going to do a ton of damage, even with that slightly bigger caliber Vickers round. Kubelwagen in the north is also capping out, at least decapping if nothing else. But it's going to be forced away. He does have one-star veterancy, and shockingly, he is still on the map, despite the fact there is now an AT gun. So perhaps that will not be long-lasting. Brits do need to be careful, though. They are down now, what, 123, 113? My math is not so good.
Trying to take one of our points.
And now it looks like the Germans are going to have their Schwerpanzer headquarters up within the next couple of minutes here. But not before the 6-pounder gets a shot or two into the back of this P2. And that guy's got a ton of eyes on him, but he apparently didn't see that ambush happening. that kind of weird garrison duel back and forth, and these Volkskrans kind of want to book it out of there, I imagine. Might not be great to be there in the long term. Although, no, Germans are actually going to go for a battlefield headquarters. A surprising one there. Did not expect that. Expecting much more of a aggressive build than that. This Vickers is going to go and suppress those Volkskrans just before they get that incendiary grenade off, and that's just unfortunate. Because that could have been a very, very easy way for them to wrap up this garrison, force them back, and then push onto the 6-pounder AT gun.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
I see up in the north. Yep, we are going to see these Tommies forced away. Excuse me. And in the center part of the map, these Royal Engineers are charging forwards, but they just are not able to put up with that P2 fire. This right here, for example, is some of the clumping that will be handled, I believe, in the winter balance patch.
Bit squiffy. Line's been cut.
Intelligently, though, they decided to back away. Good idea there. Germans are controlling about 60% of the map, even more so as soon as this P2 pushes a little more aggressively on the infantry section over here. I will admit I am a little bit more concerned for this P2 as this 6-pounder moves up. He's going to get at least one shot off. Oh no, he backs away just in time. Brilliant little whoop-de-doo over there. And despite the fact that this 6-pounder will probably get line of sight... Yep, there's one right there. He's going to make it away pretty easily. So continue to put pressure onto this garrison. A 2-centimeter cannon doing a fair amount of work by itself. Something just to note, by the way, also about your AT guns and stealth abilities, say goodbye to those in the upcoming patch. After using that or actually coming out of stealth or cover, there will be a longer window before your infantry and indeed your vehicles even can kind of get back into that safety. But more on that as moving forward. Volkskrans are going to catch out this 6-pounder, moving up very opportunistically, trying to pick on that P2. But really going up without zero support, and that's going to be a big problem right there. And indeed, these Volkskrans right here have an opportunity to get a squad wipe. That's not going to happen, though. Instead, it looks like it's going to be these Royal Engineers ducking into this house, and here comes a incendiary grenade, a preemptive one at that. So Royal Engineers taking a little bit of damage, and that garrison taking a tiny bit of burn down time as well.
Trying to take one of our points.
All this seems to be in Coast's favor, though, so far, and a second AEC will be coming out for the Brits. And the other SWS will be coming out for the Germans. And at 12 minutes and 50 seconds, I can't see why you wouldn't just tech up. There's no point. I mean, no point in waiting, that is. Oof, this P2 is going to catch out these Royal Engineers, and it doesn't matter how good you are, you're not going to take that point under fire. A little bit unfortunate there. Germans do have to be a little bit concerned about this M6 mine. He's just barely making it away, and he's going to slide up and around trying to pick on the 6-pounder, I believe.
Heavy armored car ready.
Death of the Kubelwagen. Yep, one shot, one kill. He's going to take him out. I don't know, another AEC is out, but he is not going to be able to decrew that AT gun, and that's very, very lucky for the Brits. Again, we're going to see that, again, the Volksgrenadiers are able to push back their opposite number, shockingly in my mind, because, again, Volksgrens do not scale well in the late game. But we're seeing numerical superiority kind of overcoming that immediate disparity, and up in the north we will see that the Sturmpiles will do a fair number on the Royal Engineers. Not in the least because of the support of that P2 that's now sliding up, but also because STGs outgun Stens any day of the week, and the Minesweeper. It's Saturday too, which means at that point these things are going to just crush like crazy. Sheriff Pencil Headquarters is going down, not going to be done just in time to stop this decap, but the next time it gets picked on, I imagine we'll have a very, very different story. And indeed, actually, they might even be here long enough for this guy to come online. That'd be kind of interesting here. Because that's just barely in range. Yep, here we go. So expect to see these guys get shredded. You see it happening right now. Dropping 2 models as soon as that gun comes online. That just, oof, delicious amounts of damage. Second AEC and the 6-pounder are going to be hunting for some line of sight onto that Schwerpanzer headquarters. I imagine when that does happen, it's just one mine on the field? Yep, just this one mine going on right now. When that does happen, yep, he's going to try to start picking on the Schwerer Panzer headquarters. I'm not saying it right. But the little brouhaha will prevent it from happening. You do see the false floor on the map not giving line of sight to the 6-pounder. And indeed, the Germans will just take calmly back the middle part of the field, and that'll be that. 6-pounder continues trying to get line of sight on top of the Schwerer Panzer headquarters, and this is why you kind of have to know the map. This particular issue right here will eventually take down the Schwerer Panzer headquarters. You do see that going on right now. Oof. But those shot blockers are going to do just enough that it'll stop any kind of easy takedown. And now with an ISG on the field, probably plopped down just behind, just behind the Schwerer, we are going to see that the 6-pounder needs to back out now. Drops 2 models in 2 shots, and that's a big, big issue, down to about 40% health.
They're trying to take it.
The Germans again are pushing on this eastern side. They're just looking to pick on...
New land mattress ready to go.
Surprised he's not going to actually take the fuel point. Looking just to limit the ability of the Brits to expand. And interestingly, the Germans, again, the Brits have not expanded into the company command post. It is a little bit expensive. And honestly, again, the second AEC is the reason he's not able to tech up. But the addition now of the Brens on one squad going to be happening more and more often, I imagine, as well as this land mattress, which will begin its fire pretty darn soon. Here it goes. Right down the middle part of the map. Yep, he's looking for the ISG. And maybe, just maybe, looking to pick on the Schwerer as well. That will not happen, though. I just want to see if this ISG goes down. Shockingly, it barely stays up. 2 models means it's not going to die just yet, and that's a very, very lucky gun there. A lucky son of a gun, perhaps, even. Why are the Germans not teching into any late-game vehicles? There's a good question right there. But P4 is definitely an option, and the Brits don't really have the means to take it out. They have a couple of anti-tank guns going on here, but not a big bit of opportunity. I don't know.
6-pounder anti-tank gun fit. Enemy causing trouble.
There is that second 6-pounder, though. It's coming out into the field, and while the Brens are retreating back to the house, the Germans just continue to come out to play. Down almost 220 points. Wuff really needs to kind of get back on his horse with this one, but he's really put himself into a corner, which is a more than a bit of a problem. But 18-10 in, it's all coming up for the Reich. And I would go and give it much more of a... But unfortunately, I'm suffering under a little bit of, like, I don't know, a minor cold there. Another mine going out in the field, this time in the southeast. A little bit opportunistic. I'm not sure it's really the best positioning for it. It will catch German infantry. But, you know, who cares about that one? I mean, well, not that nobody cares, but rather the pathing will not generally go through that area. Which might be why he's very, very hopeful to pick up something in the late game with it. I would really hope this ISG decides to get himself some more models. You see in the upper left-hand corner, he barely has any health whatsoever. And the land mattress is going to be prepped to fire in 2 more seconds. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down on top of this headquarters yet again. Even more devastating if he fires the Willie P barrage. But nope, right back in the same area. Yep. He's just looking for that ISG. This is not going to happen. Interesting thing about the ISG is you can pretty much play a counter battery game. But when you have 100 seconds in between every single barrage, geez. You play a counter battery game depending on where the rounds are coming in. You can tell. It's a very, very good exercise to kind of train yourself to do. But it appears that is not the major concern for the Brits. This P2 is going to probably go down here. I think, or at least take a ton of damage. Yep, one more shot will do it, and there he goes. Which leaves now the Brits in an easy control of the field. Although I would be hesitating to really say that they have a big handle on the map, mostly because Ko 2 is really just hanging on for that King Tiger. And why shouldn't he? I mean, that's going to be more than enough to really, really wreck the British war machine pretty easily. I have an AEC and 2 6-pounders, one of which is decrewed right now. It is worth noting, though, that this Schwer is not in the best of health.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
And still shockingly enough, Ko has not decided to go for a late game commander.
Your forces have
Yagtiga probably not the best idea. And finally a company command post comes out 20 minutes into this game, so Wolf definitely missed playing that one. At least in my mind. Losing that early AEC desperately set him back. And get away, there we go, he's going to get away before he gets taken out. What's the most vetted up squad on the field? Speaking of veterancy, the Brits are doing okay. A bunch of their squads almost to tier 3 with veterancy. The AT guns, of course, not doing particularly well. And finally, here we go. Ko is able to call him the Sturmtiger should he decide to do so. Albeit, I think I'd be much more inclined to go for that King Tiger, even though there is a certain, should I say, squiffy ability to engage infantry. One more time again, this thing is just desperate trying to take out the Schwer Panzer headquarters, and it's not going to happen. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the King Tiger. The Königstiger is on the map, which means this AEC is now completely and totally out of date. These 6-pounders are going to only be effective after repeated bashing. Because look at this thing, not doing a whole lot.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
And the strength of the late game Axis infantry, while not considerable, is more than enough to delete any immediate issues that might oppose them. And there he is. Here's the first one coming in. First round comes in, you know it's going to be good when he takes out two. Oh, only one model? Interesting. One more round might be enough. The all-seeing eyes all over the place. Not able to kill, unfortunately. KT sliding forward, though, continuing his domination of the field already, and he's going to start putting fire on this garrison. Yikes. One more round will take out that house. The question is, will it get happening before? No, it won't. That's kind of laughable between the AEC and the King Tiger. Now, hopefully the Germans won't decide to take out these garrisons, leave them as a very, very attractive opportunity for the Brits. Although it's kind of basically a death trap. Signal relay happening in the meantime.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
He actually does see. He is not going to check that out. I'm calling it the wrong way up there. But that's okay. And that house goes down. Not going to be a whole lot happening, unfortunately. I thought it would be much more effective, like, oh my god, everything's going to all, to the dogs. But that's not the case. What if Ko is now just going to stall out for Sturmtiger? He doesn't really have any kind of necessary reason to shift forward. Second land match is coming out and just continues to putting pressure on the Schwer Panzer headquarters. Not that it means a whole lot. King Tiger, though, has got more than enough firepower to do what he needs to do. You do see a lot of the British might is centered around this central and eastern part of the map, leaving this sole Royal Engineer squad up in the north to get picked on by the 4-star vet Volksgrens.
We're losing a capture point.
And why not? I mean, no real concern there. Yikes, almost getting picked off. And shockingly enough, there's not been a lot of squad wipes necessarily so far. The Raketen has gone down for the Germans, as has the P2 and the first AEC.
Overrun our HQ.
But it's just very, very surprising to me. And 24 minutes in, yikes, these guys want to back up, and there they go. I think that's really what Ko's doing. Ko is going to be happy to just sit here with the King Tiger and laugh at the pathetic attempts to be engaged. And I'm not sure what's being called in here. Ah, yes, the coordinated barrage. There we go. Unfortunately, it's not going to do jack. Diddly squad. More when your opponent's not paying attention. It's 120 munitions just be kind of thrown away. Super, super interesting thing, though. Brits, once again, are going to try to pick up the middle part of the map, and shockingly, they're not being engaged on this one. No, Ko's actually going to go for Stukas of Fuss. Interesting decision there. For myself, I think I would have stalled out for a Sturmtiger. Mostly because at that point, I moved forward my King Tiger to take rounds from the anti-tank guns And then I laugh whenever he tries to engage me, throw a Sturmtiger around on top of him. And this might be the death of these Sturmpios who are desperately trying to repair this Schwerpanzer headquarters. Lots of engagement happening here. 25-15, finally, that's when Ko loses his first tickets on this map. Intelligently as well, Ko decides to go for a second squad of Pioneers a little bit late in the game to really get veterancy out of them, but nevertheless a good idea to assist with the repair work on the headquarters.
Trying to take one of our points.
So while his perfect game is gone, current terminal cancer seems to be quite terminal nonetheless. Wolf is not able to invest in a late game tank force right now. You do see these things are still desperately far away. 110 fuel before even remotely in a worthwhile tank. It's just, that's too long. It can't take that long. You have to have something on the field before now. See it happening already. Germans are taking back the middle part of the map, and these Royal, trust again, land mattresses are able to fire, but are not going to, and that's a big problem right there. Oh my gosh. AEC though might pick up. Oh, never mind.
HQ is under attack.
I was gonna say, might be able to pick up that Stukosafus, but balls of steel from the Stukosafus, and instead it's the AEC that buys it. There's one of the Sturmpire squads. In fact, that was the one that's been on the map for a very, very long time.
New machine gun crew ready and waiting.
And although we are going to see both the Stukosafus and the Königstiger with a ton of damage to them,
Damned enemies trying to take a...
I have to say that I still like the German position in this, for obvious reasons. Not in the least of which is because even if this thing goes down, Germans have a greater army value. They have more firepower in the long run. Yikes. And to be fair, there's not enough anti-tank on the field to really be concerned as the Germans. And indeed, picking up a Vickers right there doesn't seem like a very, very big win. But I would say it's decently good. It's decently good. And now retreating with it as well, expanding the Wehrmacht army as well as removing a weapons squad from British hands. So Hans, it's in Hans's hands now. Stukosafus is waiting the last couple 30 seconds before throwing out that next barrage, and where is he going to throw that? My hope would be right in this area. I kind of feel like he should know there's something going on there. And now another mine in the north. Not the biggest issue for the Germans right now. King Tiger coming in. He's going to put some rounds on top of a Tommy section, but not really going to be the biggest concern there. Veterancy has taken a quick dip in the last couple of minutes here. The vetted up Pio squad buying it and dropping down the overall veterancy from the German forces and from the Brits. That Vickers that went down was not the vetted up one, and indeed I think the vetted up one is still doing pretty well, 9 kills to his name. But I do not believe the Germans have to worry too much about this. And indeed, yep, there go the Royal Engineers. And if these guys should be able to take off at least 2 models on retreat, maybe even 3. There's, oh my gosh, that's 1, and that's a flamethrower as well. You don't want to give that over to the Germans. It'd be even worse to lose that squad. And yep, the squad goes down. That is going to be really rough to try to come back from. Stukosafus now should have the range on the Royal land mattresses, and here it comes. I'm just calling it right here. Calling a shot right in this area. Here we go. Yep. Boom. Bada boom, boom, boom. Decrews 2 weapons, wipes out one of the Vickers already. And the land mattress now has 2 models and 4 kills to his name, and that's really not what you want to see. And indeed, where is that other 6-pounder? He is off to the east, so he is not in the worst position.
We're losing a capture point.
But I dare say that the 6-pounder being wrecked is a big, big loss, as is losing out on the Vickers as well. Cromwell going to be the last breath of hope from Wolf. But that's not going to be enough, I don't think. Between being able to throw out the Fausts and being able to get the Sturmtiger within the next 2 minutes, I'd be very, very concerned about the British war machine. And indeed, being down to 330 tickets doesn't help too much either. Volksgren's throwing out an incendiary grenade, trying to catch out the Tommies will not do so.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
And he's just going to back away instead. I will say, though, the incredibly wounded Königstiger could be enough. Ooh, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He died, immediately drops a Bren. That is like the worst luck in the world. His Vickers is not going to be negative covers. That's a problem right there. But if the infantry section gets even remotely cut up by this, that's even more so an issue.
Capture point is being overrun.
Didn't see this happen over here in the meantime, though. The Brits did lose their capture point. And Vickers doesn't get
The enemy caught us
a chance to pick up the Bren gun, and why would they, of course. But still, tickets are going to be draining away for the Germans once it gets recapped here. Warrior Land Mattress going back to the center part of the map. And intelligently, the Germans decide to book it out of there. Vickers taking some losses as it pulls back. Only one left. And is that a squad wipe? I'm not sure if that was a squad wipe or not. What I will say is that Stukosafus should be more than enough to wipe out another unit here. Question is, will he pick the right area? Can be noted that this German squad over here in the house is just fine and hunky-dory, throwing down rounds downrange on top of this infantry section here. That match is going for the garrison and we'll take it out, but big stinking deal there, right? And the Sturmtiger can be called in about 30 seconds as soon as the manpower gets up there, and why wouldn't it? I mean, right now, Ko has got himself pretty much a full dance card as it comes to troops. No real vetted up squads of Sturmpayos, but that's okay. And indeed, having 3 squads of fully vetted Volksgrenadiers, all with STGs, I would say that Ko's doing pretty well. He's not quite put on a clinic, but it ain't too far off of that. All of his units are practically full strength. The Brits don't really have that opportunity there. And mine's going to be going down over here. With luck, it won't get taken out by the King Tiger firing. It won't. And indeed, the 6-pounder will be able to discourage, I would say,
Enemy threatening a capture point.
the firepower coming in. Has he found the range, is the question. No, he hasn't quite, but he's going for that 6-pounder, and honestly, if he takes out the 6-pounder, that's pretty much GG. Kwama moves forward, trying to be very, very aggressive about things. Oh, nope, it's going to be a Panther, not a Sturmtiger. Yikes. 4-star vetted up squad of Volksgrens is forced back by the Brens, and that's just the unfortunate thing, being in the middle of all that Bren attention. But still, it doesn't really matter too much for the Germans. I mean, what have they really lost this time? Yike! 1 round takes out 3 guys in that squad. He's got to book it out of there right now. He might even still get picked off by that huge, huge cannon. But luckily enough for him, that will not be the case.
We're ready for orders.
Cromwell, in the meantime, sliding over here to the east, trying to figure out an attack vector that will not see him die
Enemies trying to take
in about a second and a half. Unfortunately, from my side, I don't see what that vector might be. 6-pounders are either remade or recrewed.
a supply.
But there's no fuel. Yikes. The Königstiger is going for the heat shells, which is even more devastating, honestly, if he even hits them. That's a big issue right there, though, too. Land mattress again, going to the same target.
A capture point is being overrun.
And here's a slight problem that I have with Wolf's play in this particular map. He's been tunneling like crazy. He's been swinging around, in my mind, he's swinging around the western side, trying to get in behind the Germans, as opposed to throwing his forces right into where he knows all of them are. We could see a dead Volksgren squad, though. Is he going to make it away? No, he won't. He's going to go down. But he's still taking out this Eastern VP, and now this Panther is on the field as well. This Cromwell has got to get out of there right now. It's not going to happen, and indeed, Panthers also popped the heat shells.
100 points
So
there.
2 shots takes that Cromwell down to 50% health. And although he's going to take a couple of rounds for his trouble, main gun destroyed on the Cromwell. 6-pounder is going to probably put a fair amount of damage into the Panther, but that's not going to be enough. There we go. That's one.
Lost its swines just knocked out a vehicle.
Swines? Really? That's awfully heated name calling there. And 35 minutes in, I'm surprised that Wolf hasn't just tapped out already. Nope, more rounds coming in instead. It is that Stukos Fus, and the rounds are going to come in just shy of actually doing something. But it does have, one-star veterancy, and that's just adorable right there. Which does mean that's a, was it 10%, I think, cooldown reduction? I cannot recall. 6-pounders, one behind the other, trying their damnedest to take out the King Tiger. But in 2 rounds, the King Tiger decrews one and put some very, very good damage on the other one. German's forced away there, but even if he loses some squads now, Code got this wrapped up. This is game over. There goes the other 6-pounder, and yep, UKF doesn't have squat at this point, unless he tries to hop back on these anti-tank guns. Royal Engineers will do so, but that's a bad idea. That is a sucker bet right there. One more round, we'll see them knocked off, and I think it's going to happen. Yep, there we go, decrewed. And if he takes out these, then, it's cute. Yep, Wolf taps out. So 36 minutes and 3 seconds in. Final score 483 to 42. Ko is terminal cancer. Puts on a clinic on how to push with the OKW. Though to be fair, I think Wolf losing that first AEC might have been what lost him the game when he decided to go for a second one. So unit preservation, a minor issue for Wolf in this particular game. Nevertheless, well played by Ko. Is terminal cancer. Wolf, I'm sorry, buddy, maybe better next time. And guys, that's going to be it for me. This is going to be Con Ulrich signing off. One last note, of course, if you have a game you want me to check out, I just posted one actually today when I'm recording this, highlighting a 2v2. Feel free to email me at conulrichgaming@gmail.com. Until then, though, I'm taking off, guys. You all have a great day. Take it easy.